Hey peeps, and welcome to Fatal 12. For those of you who don't know, this is a visual novel. A visual novel is kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure story. Occasionally you'll get a choice, and the choice will determine the end of the game. They're good or bad. Hopefully good. So, we'll see how this goes. I played the demo yesterday. It was just a brief part of the story, so I'm not quite sure what happens all the way through. There are a number of specific terms used to describe a sequence of events that lead to a specific outcome. Some call it life, others call it a story. One is responsible for much during the sequence, such as choices picked, relationships built, and mistakes made. It's pretty much a visual novel. All of that is for the sake of proceeding along a predetermined path. That is the natural order of a world ruled by the concept of fate. Fate never strays from its course, regardless of how cruel it may be. My life and the events in it thus far are simply the product of fate leading me to a certain outcome. That's why I've never once given thought to any missed possibilities found along this path. My life has never been anything worth talking about in the first place. I've never had the luxury of considering the what-ifs. After all, I've convinced myself life has no do-overs. Once the story ends, that's it. My name is Shishimai Rinka. I'm a second year at Amecha Girls University High School, a rather famous all-girls school in the big city. Unlike my middle school, which was a hodgepodge of top students and those who barely showed up for class, this is a realm of refined, wealthy ladies. A realm I clearly don't belong in. In fact, they wasted no time in labeling me a delinquent of sorts. One reason, really the main reason, is the golden streaks in my hair. However, it's my natural hair color, so the school itself has no issue with it. Not like I get hassled for it either. It's just a bit too out there for these sheltered students. The main reason I chose Amecha was because it didn't seem to have many regulations in regards to appearance. It turned out they just didn't list anything due to its unspoken rules based on being a traditional school. Well, that's helpful. I was pretty pissed off when I got treated like a delinquent, despite having not broken any rules at the time. Fewer than 3 months later, I stopped caring. Much like how I have my own values, the girls here have theirs. I can't understand their viewpoint, so it's only natural they can't understand mine. To tell the truth, I'm pretty content with making no effort to look at life from another point of view. That is until a certain event caused a massive change in my life. Aha! Plot point. It all starts on a certain day before Golden Week. Golden Week is a time in Japan where they have a bunch of holidays in 1 week. It's Golden Week, and it's the first week of May. I believe it still culminates on the 5th of May with Children's Day. So we're probably going to be sometime late April, early May.
Mite, 駅の時計止まっちゃってる。故障かな?
By the way, the characters are fully voiced, so I won't be narrating the characters. Read some stuff. It's good for you. I relay my observation to Naomi as we pass through the ticket gate.
本当だ。リンカ先輩、よく気づきましたね。駅の時計が止まってるなんて珍しいのに。だよね。あ、ごめん。ナオミの話遮っちゃったよね。何の話だっけ？あれですよ、あれ。私も忘れちゃいました。
We all have that one friend. This is Hitsuji Naomi, a first year at Amecha. You might assume that I know her from club activities or something like student council, but it was coincidence that brought us together. She may be my junior, but I simply see her as a friend because age difference doesn't matter much to me. We're heading back to my place now, making our way to the station platform to wait for the train. Oh lordy.
ちょっと。
She yelps as she trips over nothing but air. Hey, air's dangerous. Fortunately, I snag her hand and keep her from falling on her face. Well, she tugs me forward in the process because she's a bit taller than me, but she manages to regain her balance quick.
すみません。別に謝ることじゃないよ。ありがとうございます。それもなんか大げさ。
I'm not sure if it's due to her meek nature or not, but Naomi tends to trip herself up pretty often. She's the kind of girl you look at and suddenly feel an inexplicable urge to protect.
それで、どうしたの？
Whoops, I forgot to let go of her hand after catching her.
あ、ごめん。痛かった？全然痛くはないですけど。
She casts her eyes downward as she answers. Oh my god, that's cute. Maybe I squeezed a bit too tight without realizing it. I let go with an apologetic expression.
その
Oh, don't fall again.
電車が来そうですし。
Oh.
行きましょう。
She fixes her glasses, which have become askew after tripping, and then points toward the platform with haste. Pretty sure I've been on that platform. Situations like this typically lead to a replay of the events from just a minute ago. Oh lordy. And there she goes.
もう落ち着かないから。
Yeah, you gotta calm down. She bumps right into a passerby the moment she starts to walk toward the platform. Even worse, it causes both of them to topple over.
すみません。ごめんなさい。私の後輩が。
Taking a lot of liberties with their translations here, but alright. I'll give you a pass. I make my way over as they get back to their feet. She bumped into what seems to be a young girl. She's about the same height as me, but her face is definitely younger. Sometimes Naomi gets mistaken for a middle schooler thanks to her big round eyes, but that's not the case with this girl. Girl question mark?
大丈夫かな？
I notice how pallid her eyes are when I try to speak to her. Her hair is pure white, but almost obscured by her hat. She definitely looks young, but her facial features stand out more than your average person's. Safe to assume she's a foreigner then. That means her hair isn't dyed either. And she likes to speak in ellipses. Unlike Naomi, this girl has fallen backward. Since Naomi bumped into the girl's back, you'd think she would have fallen face first. But she quickly spun around while falling. Not only that, she also made sure to cradle the bag that was on her back. Based on its size, I guess she's here on vacation. Chances are she's carrying something fragile in there, like a camera. She's by herself too, so I'm assuming she came here with her family and has somehow gotten lost. What I think is a key on her bag at first is actually just a keychain. Well, it's a key on a chain, so it's a keychain. She hops back to her feet, bag in hand, her glare drilling into me.
Naomi, ほら、ちゃんと謝らないと。とりあえず落ち着きなって。
she offers nothing beyond an empty stare as Naomi apologizes and bows her head. She seems like she wants to say something, but for whatever reason, opts not to. Rude. Eventually, she runs off toward the platform without making it clear whether or not she understood our apology. She spins around to face us one more time, but I get the feeling that she's locking eyes with me, not Naomi. It's funny, thanks to her unique appearance, she still stands out in the crowd. Then again, my hair causes me to stand out as well, so that's probably how she spots me so quickly. In the end, I'm not able to tell if she finds her parents or if she actually has come here all alone.
ごめんなさい。
私に謝っても仕方ないって。ま、あの子にもちゃんと謝ったし、怪我もしてないみたいだから大丈夫じゃないかな。とはいえ、気をつけなね。ナオミはいつも焦りすぎなんだから。はい、
石橋を叩いて壊すくらいに慎重に歩きます。
それ意識しすぎて絶対転ぶパターンだから。あの子見えなくなった。
さっきの男の子どうかしたんですか？まさか本当は怪我してたとか。
男の子？いや、女の子じゃなかった？
Pretty sure it was female, but...
あれ？でも綺麗な顔立ちだったから女の子って言われても納得です。私また失礼なことを。
Oh lordy. The sound of an approaching train rises as our conversation falls. Much like Naomi, we make our way over to the platform.
私たちも行こうか。今度は転ばないでね。
We make our way onto the train bound for Shinjuku, having largely forgotten about the person Naomi bumped into. Got distracted by Shinjuku. We board the next train at Aotsuka Station. My place isn't far from there. First we have to get off at Shinjuku Station before taking the metro for 2 more stations. Oh yes, the Tokyo Station Shuffle. It's fun and it's not fun. It's panic-inducing. The only issue is we're making this journey at 5 p.m. Pretty much rush hour, so the trains are packed. Naomi and I get practically glued together on our journey to Shinjuku.
ごめんなさい。私が遅くなっちゃったからラッシュに巻き込まれちゃって。
いや、ナオミが謝ることじゃないし、私だって慣れっこだから気にしなくていいよ。
すみま
せん。ってあれ、そこにあるのって。
I spy a familiar bag from amongst the crowd. Well, the bag itself is standard, so it's actually the keychain that catches my eye. Yep, it's the kid from earlier. Standing right in the middle of the passenger car, bag hugged tight against their chest. They're not tall enough to reach the overhead straps, but I doubt they'll fall over thanks to how crammed it is.
同じ車両だったんだ。
どうしたんですか？
あれ、あの子リュック開いちゃってるな。
I can't tell what's in there. What is that? The strap is probably unfastened a bit due to people rubbing against it on the train. I'm just worried because the kid doesn't seem to have noticed. The other passengers probably don't care to notice either. Some are reading the newspaper, others are killing time checking out the ads, but most are on their phones. I doubt I would have noticed if Naomi hadn't bumped into them, and that's why I'm the only one to see what they're doing. with a deadly serious expression, almost as if they're being squashed by incredible pressure.
機械?
Oh, lordy, that's a bomb. That's what that is. It looks mechanical, but different from a camera or a laptop. Yeah, you think? For whatever reason, my mind leaps to a conclusion that I've only read in fiction. Bakuhatsu. Before I can finish, it happens. A flash emits out of the bag.
Baku?
Naomi!
Uh-oh. The detonation is almost instantaneous. A wave of heat propels through the train car, enough to feel like my skin is being seared off. Ugh. A sharp, explosive roar comes right after, puncturing my eardrums. I duck in front of Naomi to protect her, then push her away. I feel my body being pushed by the explosive shockwave, too. And in that moment, my body is burned beyond repair with the flames. Wow. Oh, well, that's no good. However, my consciousness remains intact. I hear a voice. I don't feel anything anymore. Vivid memories pulse through me, the shockwave, the pain, the heat searing through my body. And yet I no longer feel any of it. My consciousness begins to fade. Or maybe I've already lost it. This is but a remnant of it before it fades away completely. The final fleeting moments of a consciousness drowned in a sea of fire.
Senpai! Senpai! Rinka senpai!
My sight gradually fades too. No doubt my consciousness will be spirited away, like a leaf in a gust of wind. If nothing else, being able to hear that voice puts me at ease. Oh. Well, she saved her friend. There's no arguing that fate has decided to end my life here and now. Oh. I got to the opening. Hey, what the? Did this just turn into Cardcaptor Sakura? Hey, Bomb Girl. Psycho. Okay. And the story begins.
リータン。おーい。リータン。リンカ？リンカ先輩？
I hear two voices calling out to me. I knew who they belonged to without even seeing their faces.
いい加減起きれ。
sharp pain rushes through my forehead, causing me to finally lift my face off my arms. Hey, I'm alive! No doubt this'll sting for a while. Yeah, not as much as that fire would sting.
あれ、火事は？
火事？何言ってんの？変な夢でも見た？
夢？ってことは私寝てた？
ちょっとだけ。リータンに気なんて使わなくていいからね、ナオリン。
I don't know if this is a more recent addition, but Tan and Rin seem to be put on the end of friends' names occasionally. It's like a cutesy nickname kind of thing. It's always been Chan back in my day. The one responsible for waking me up is Oguma Mao, a classmate. As usual, she's got her wildly colored hair tied up nice and neat into pigtails. Beside her is Naomi, and seeing how they were still in their uniforms, I guess we just got back from school. We're at Lion House, a cafe run by my grandmother. The first floor serves as a cafe, while the second floor serves as her home. Since I'm living with her, my room's also on the second floor, although it's probably more accurate to say I'm living on my own right now, considering she's gone off to the countryside to help nurse an ailing relative.
ほれ、リータン、まだ寝てるのか。魔王様が目を覚ましてあげよう。うりうり。
She clicks her mechanical pencil and presses it against my cheek before scribbling all over me. Ah!
いたたたたた、起きた起きた。だからシーは出すな。
魔王先輩、鬼。
Naomi is visibly disturbed by how much Mao seems to have enjoyed doing that. Well, it certainly has helped wake me up. A lingering issue, however, is that I can't remember why we're here.
で、ごめん。今って何してたっけ？
まだ起きてないの？
夢を見たせいか、なんかぼーっとしちゃって。
I can't remember what I even dreamt about. I mentioned a fire when I woke up, but I don't recall being involved in one. The fact that I can't remember is starting to annoy me.
変なリータン。
Naomi interjects after I fire a glance at Mao.
来月の文化祭でうちのクラスが喫茶店をやることになったんです。私がクラスの実行委員に、しかもリーダーになってしまって。
Wow. The traditional culture festival café. Alright. I'll run with it. She's making no attempt to hide the fact that she's been forced into it. Granted, she's probably the most fit for the job, considering how serious and thorough she is when it comes to this stuff.
リンカ先輩のお家が喫茶店って聞いてたので、参考にお話を聞きたかったんです。そしたら来て大丈夫って言ってくれたので。
Her explanation helps me grasp the situation. Yes, you want my coffee.
落ち着いて話をしたいってこともあって、うちに呼んだんだった。
The store's only open for the regulars right now, since my grandmother's away. Sometimes we get a first-timer or two, but I've only got simple stuff on the menu for now, so I can handle things on my own. How do you keep out people who aren't regulars? I don't know. Not my problem, it's her Kisa-ten. It doesn't really get busy, so there's no issue in inviting her along.
ライオン館はみんなの第二のお家っていうのがおばあちゃんの口癖だしね。
出た、おばあちゃんの口癖。確かに。 初めて来たのにここはすごく落ち着きます。落ち着きすぎて居眠りしちゃうのはダメだけどね。
And don't fall into the coffee.
もううるさい。で、マオはどうしてうちにいるんだっけ？
暇だったから？
ああ、うん。だろうね。
先輩たちのクラスは何をやるんですか？
It's gonna be a play or a haunted house.
お
Oh,
化け屋敷だったか、占いの館だったか。
got 1 out of 2.
要するにまだ決まってないってことなのだよ。大丈夫なんですか？まあなんとかするんじゃないかな。頑張ってるナオリンの前で言うのも良くないかもだけど、あんまし興味ないんだよね、うちら。ピーターもうちもクラスから避けられてる組だし、実行委員もうちらにはなるべく関わらないようにしてるってわけ。
そう。だからってわけじゃないけど、ナオミの手伝いならするよ。私は店番あるからできる限りになっちゃうけどね。
はい、ありがとうございます。
She nods, struggling to hide her concern. After hearing that, she probably thinks we're being bullied. We're used to how we're treated, though. It's not like they're going out of their way to ignore us. They'd just rather avoid us whenever possible. It's funny, though. Mao still gets along with plenty of the girls, and I'm pretty sure no one outright dislikes me. Might be more accurate to say they try not to get involved in our lives. They understand that we're different, so it creates a rift between us. Speaking of different, we're not the only two. Mishima Miharu, who's probably at work right now, is our comrade in that regard.
あ、ピーターン、アイスカフェラテちょうだい。
Well, that was sudden.
うちはラテはないの。カフェオレならあるよ。
じゃあそれで。
いいけど、マオにはちゃんとお代を払ってもらうからね。
いらね、水で。
Cheapskate.
たく、仕方ないな。一杯だけおごり、店のね。ナオミは何がいい？
いいんですか？もらえる時にもらっときなよ。ピータン普段はケチだから。じゃあホットコーヒーをいただけますか？
はい、ちょっと待っててね。
I make my way to the kitchen, wash my hands, and don my apron. You're a pro the moment you enter the kitchen. That's what my grandmother always tells me, and I believe it. I may be making these for friends, but that's no excuse to do it half-hearted. This looks like chemistry class. Anyone who orders a black coffee gets a nice serving of Full City Guatemalan beans. Full City is a roasting method used to reduce the acidic tones of the beans and make them more bitter. Beans from Guatemala are typically more acidic than others, so this is kind of a full roast in the perfect way to balance their acidity and bitterness. This feels like coffee chemistry class. I prepare the siphon before placing the flask on an alcohol lamp. Oh my god, this is involved. The key here is making sure the flame's positioned just a touch to the side of the middle of the flask. Once it starts boiling, I shake it gently and then wait for the beans to fall. Once they're all in the flask, it's just a matter of letting them sit until they become fragrant. I just get my coffee from Starbucks. Good lord.
はい、ナオミ、お待たせ。
すごい。いい香りがここまでします。
ありがとう。
Naomi's comments make me happy, but I've still got a long way to go. My grandmother knows how to apply different brewing methods based on the bean type, for example. All I'm doing now is applying her instructions to make things easier for me. There's still plenty to learn. Alright, next up is Mao's iced latte. I make this by preparing coffee first and then adding plenty of ice into a glass before topping it off with some milk. This way you get to see the coffee's black and the milk's white mixed together in the glass. Once that's done, I jam a straw in it and walk it over to Mao as I'm sipping. Jam a straw in it! Ah!
はい、ガムシロップ足りなかったら言ってね。
どうもどうも。
I'll make myself some coffee after that, take off my apron, wash my hands, and return to my seat. Always wash your hands. Very important.
すっごく美味しいです。家で入れたのとは全然違う。リンカ先輩、すごいです。
喫茶店だからね。まあ私がすごいっていうか、おばあちゃんがすごいんだけどね。
そういやさ、他に店員さんとかいないわけ
？She dumps half the syrup into the cup before even giving it a taste and then pours in the remaining half. Oh, a girl after my own heart. Hearing the ice clink as she stirs it is nice and satisfying.
この狭さでしょ。もともとおばあちゃん一人で切り盛りしてきたから従業員っていないんだよね。
リータのおばあちゃんって今は親戚の介護でたまにしか帰ってこないんだっけ？
そうだよ。お店も閉めようかって言ってたんだけど、私が無理言ってちょっとだけでも開けることにしたの。コーヒーを入れるだけなら私でもできるかもって。そしたらコーヒーを入れるってのが一番大変でさ、おばあちゃんからは1ヶ月以上かかっても結局 OK は出なかったよ。ただそれじゃあ店が開けないから、私もどうにかこうにか頑張っておばあちゃんが行く直前にギリギリ及第点をもらったんだよね。
先輩はいつから一人でお店を開けているんですか？
Didn't she say a month?
おばあちゃんが田舎に行ったのが3月末だから、私がお店を開けるようになってだいたい1ヶ月になるね。
We're probably around the end of April then if we're headed toward Golden Week. I take a sip of my own coffee after answering. It definitely smells and tastes a lot better than when I first tried to make some. I'm used to drinking her coffee, so the fact that I can answer with pride means I'm definitely getting there. Granted, I'm still a long ways from her level.
文化祭でこの美味しいコーヒーを出せたらいいなって思ったんですけど、さっきの話を聞くと難しそうですよね。
Get the chemistry club up on that.
生徒がちゃんと味の違いわかるかね。うちみたいにミルクがないと全部苦いってなる子も多いだろうし、そういう人もいるかもしれませんけど、でも私は大丈夫だと思います。文化祭なら先生や保護者の方も来ますし、喜んでくれるのは間違いないですよ。でも先輩がおばあ様に教わって1ヶ月なら、私はどれくらいかかることやら。私だけじゃなくて担当のみんなもできるようにならないといけないし。
無理だと思うな。器具も安くないし。
おお、はっきり言うね。ですよね。やっぱり文化祭だったらインスタントコーヒーの方が良さそうです。
Well, let's not go that far.
ちょっと待って。私は同じものを出すのは無理って言ったの。豆はうちがお願いしている業者を紹介すれば安く買える。それにハンドドリップなら器具も手軽に買えるし、学園祭の予算みたいのでも大丈夫じゃないかな。入れ方はおばあちゃんに簡単にできるのがないか聞いてみる。いきなりお店みたいに入れるとはいかないかもしれないけど、お客さんに喜んではもらえるはず。自信はないけど私が教える。だからあとはやる気次第じゃないかな。
I noticed Mao grinning as I finished my spiel. She probably expected me to say that. Naomi is obviously taken aback, but she quickly starts to nod and then responds.
そんなに頼っちゃっていいんですか?
That's fine.
ナオミが頑張るならね。それにおばあちゃんから聞いたことは私が教えることになるから、私の勉強にもなる。
いいんだってナオリン。リータンは見た目のせいでよく勘違いされるけど、実はおせっかいなんだよ。特に自分の家族や友達にはね。
おせっかい言うな。で、どうするナオミ?
There's a hint of concern in her expression, but she gives a conclusive response.
ぜひお願いします。
I took a lot of liberties with that translation.
いいよ。じゃあおばあちゃんから返事が来たらまた連絡するよ。
ありがとうございます。うちもたまに暇つぶしさせてもらうよ。
That'll probably be a lot.
いいけど次からはちゃんとお題もらうからね。
ケチ。
当然だろ。
With that out of the way, we spend the rest of our time together chatting. I have to help a few customers, but they don't mind me talking with Mao and Naomi so long as I get their orders out in a timely manner. In fact, some even join in the conversation, not because they're regulars, but because I've known plenty of them since I was a kid. They kind of feel like relatives in a sense. Lion House has always had that homely feel to it. Both me and my grandmother consider it our second home. That's why I hope it stays that way once she gets back. Both Mao and Naomi leave just before 7 p.m. I head up to my room on the second floor after closing and cleaning up the shop. Oh, it's Wednesday, the 2nd of May. Okay, we are in Golden Week. Huzzah! Gotta be honest, I'm pretty excited about helping Naomi. I enjoy making coffee as it is, so it'll be nice if other people end up feeling the same. Knowing Naomi, she'll probably pick up on it easily enough, although her clumsiness is a concern. That aside, what was that dream earlier all about? I felt okay once I started talking with Mao and Naomi, but I can't shake the weird feeling from when I woke up. I've never felt like that before. I can't even say for sure if I was actually dreaming.
あれ、なんだろう。
In the middle of telling myself to forget about it and try to sleep, I notice a thick book on top of my desk. It's an auburn color with some gold leaf decorations on it. I assume these are gears. Look like gears to me. Seems like the kind of book my grandmother would like, but I don't remember putting it here. Grandma likes cyberpunk or something? Some steampunk going on? Oh. You gotta look at a book. You have to. I take care when cracking it open, trying not to get it dirty. Those look like cloud cards. We are in Card Captor Sakura now. I've crossed over.
何これ?
There are no pages inside, rather there's a rectangular gap in the middle. I close the book immediately, having more questions now than when I spied it. At least nothing jumped out of it. Might as well message Gran about it tomorrow, considering it's already this late. Ah, what? My phone vibrates after I turn the lights off and hop into bed. It's a message from Naomi. Why are you texting me this late at night?
今日はありがとうございました。これからよろしくお願いします。か。律儀だな、ナオミは。
I send a quick emoji in response and then place my phone beside my pillow without checking to see if she reads it or not. Huh? I'm pretty sure I've fallen asleep, but I feel conscious. Except I can't move my body or even speak. Ooh, sleep paralysis. That's a bad time. Is this sleep paralysis? Yeah. Or maybe it's a lucid dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, yourself. I hear a man's voice, but I don't know to whom it belongs. A figure appears soon after, but I can't make it out all that well. It's someone slender with a vaguely androgynous face. I can't respond, so I wait for him to continue.
運命に導かれ、君の因果は消したようだ。
Well, I thought it had, but then I was alive again.
悲観することはないよ。なぜなら君にはこれから12週間、再び生きることのできるチャンスが与えられているからね。普通じゃないよね。そう、その通りさ。けれど、君が特別なんじゃない。特別なのは君の持つ運命だよ。
There's nothing uniquely special about you. Thanks, jackass. He spouts this nonsense at me in a calm, almost rehearsed fashion.
私かい？私は君たちをいつも見ている存在さ。
That's creepy.
本来、君たちに会うことはないのだけれど、何の因果か君の夢とここがつながってしまったみたいだね。さて、せっかくだから挨拶をと思ったけれど、もう十分だろ
う。You didn't even introduce yourself.
では、物語が始まる前に少しだけ君の原風景を思い出すといい。
The man disappears as soon as he stops talking, and my consciousness fades away once more. I thought my dreams were weird. Oh, we're on fire again. Flames envelop me. Flames powerful enough to flake the skin from my bones. Yikes. Flames that produce enough smoke to smother my lungs. My life turns to ash. My inability to move, even my fingers tell me as much. I hear someone shouting. Whoever it is keeps shouting over and over. Their calls are eventually drowned out by the roaring flames that continue to spread. By the time the voice has been entirely drowned out, my consciousness is extinguished. Unlike these flames. And I'm alive again. Thursday. Alright. I wake up from my own uncontrollable scream. What an awful nightmare. I was engulfed by flames and died. I'm drenched in sweat, my breathing's beyond ragged. Even worse, I notice a strange black blob on my stomach, all the while wondering why I even had such a dream. A black blob? Like char? Oh, like a cat. That's a different black blob entirely. Lethe. Who oddly reminds me of that dude we just had a dream about. I don't know why he just does. This is our cat, Lethe. I'm not sure if my gran got it or if it was originally a stray, but it's made Lion House its home. It's been here as long as I can remember, but it's still pretty lively despite its age. Indeed. Maybe I was struggling to breathe because it's lying on my stomach. Is that why I dreamt what I did? Let me tell you, if you have a big cat sleeping on you, it's hard to do anything. It jumps from the bed and skitters off when it realizes I'm about to get up. They say cats are free spirits, and Lethe is a perfect example. I don't know where it usually goes to hang out, but it doesn't cause any trouble here, and it knows where to do its business. My gran always said that trying to keep a cat cage is about as pointless as trying to catch clouds. In other words, she's had her fair share of trouble with it as well. She has a clock and flames on her shirt. Just throwing that one out there. I have myself a good stretch before I get ready to open the store. Today's a holiday, so it needs to be open nice and early. As I think I can relax a bit after the morning customers have left, the bell on the door chimes.
いらっしゃいま。あ、みはる。
おはようリンカ。
In trots a tall and stylish girl with matching looks. The sun reflects off her long silky hair, enough to make it seem like she's generating her own light with each and every step. That's Mishima Miharu for you. She's a classmate of mine and part of our to be avoided group. But in her case, it's more because she's practically perfect in every regard, so people find it hard to approach her.
あれ、今日はバイト休み？
ううん。今日はこれからバイトだよ。
I should have figured, considering she's wearing a school uniform. She normally wears her own clothes when we're out in public, but I guess she can't be bothered to pick something out to wear for work. Helps her avoid getting hit on by guys on the way home, too. Not sure how that works exactly, though, but hey. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work either, but alright, whatever. Thing is, she works way out in Akihabara. And this is by Shinjuku, pretty much the opposite side of town. So why'd she go out of her way to come here? Does she need something? Yeah, you're gonna be late.
僕はただリンカの顔を見たかっただけだよ。昨日はほとんど話せなかったのに、今日から連休になってしまうからね。せめて今日くらいはリンカと話しておきたくて。
はあ、どうも。
I have to admit there are certain facets of Miharu that I just don't get. I'm pretty confident she has some other business out here, yet here she is teasing me. It's hard to find the right response sometimes.
さて、もう少し長いしたいところだけど、他にお客さんが来ても困るだろうし、僕は行くよ。二人きりになれるのを待っていたら遅くなってしまったしね。
わざわざ待ってたの？入ってくればいいのに。常連さんばっかりだからみんな気にしないよ。
今日は天気がいいからね。緑を見ながら待つのも気持ちよかったよ。
うん、まあならいいけどさ。
Whatever floats your boat, I guess. There's a park across from here that's famous all over the country. Apparently it was an old samurai's garden that became a park after being used as a zone for experimental agriculture projects. Not only does it have all sorts of flowers from here, England, and France, but there's also plenty of tourists who come by to see it. Unfortunately, we're a bit out of the way to draw them in as customers, but a couple of foreigners do find us and stop by every now and again. We do tend to get around. We have a good view of it from here, although I don't think it's the kind of thing you can enjoy for long. Miharu has some peculiar tastes, though, so who knows? Maybe she can.
では、お邪魔しました。ちゃんと休憩は取るんだよ。
わかってる。みはるもバイト頑張ってね。
そうだ、思い出したよ。連休の最終日、5月6日にスターダストキングダムへ行く約束、忘れてないよね。
もう忘れてないよ。
Stardust Kingdom is a famous theme park out in the Chiba Prefecture. We've made plans to go there at the end of Golden Week, fully aware that it'll be at its busiest. Yeah.
くす、君は前科があるから確認だよ。それじゃあ、またね。
That would be like going to Disney World on Christmas.
うん、バイバイ。またね。
Miharu leaves with a smile on her face. I had to stop myself from saying bye, because Miharu isn't fond of people saying that whenever they part ways. I get where she's coming from. It sounds like what you'd say for a long-term parting. But I think she's going a little overboard. Either way, I try to keep myself from using it when I can. Just as I'm planning to brew some coffee for myself, someone else makes their way through the door and let me get some coffee!
いらっしゃいま。
Oh.
あ、 Naomi.
I'm still making myself some coffee then. In comes another friend. Can't say I'm surprised by her cute outfit choice.
おはようございます。
おはよう。いいよ。気にしないで入って。
The fact that she didn't mention Miharu must mean they didn't cross paths. Naomi seems a little down, though. Not only that, but I can tell she had second thoughts about coming inside, either because there weren't any other customers or because she's conscious of the fact that I'm trying to run a business.
どうしたの？
I still haven't asked my gran about an easy way for beginners to make some relatively good coffee, so hopefully she hasn't come to ask about that. I have the option of teaching her myself, but I'd rather not do that with my own relative lack of knowledge.
実は昨日忘れ物をしてしまったみたいで。
忘れ物？あ、もしかして本？分厚くて金色の歯車みたいな飾りのついた立派なやつ。
That doesn't make sense. You guys weren't up in your room. Unless it floated.
本ですか？いえ、私本は忘れていないと思いますけど。
そっか。だよね。
Not sure why I asked when she never set foot in my room. Say? So obviously she wouldn't have left anything there. Turns out it's her pencil case. She could have just sent me a message about it last night, but apparently she only noticed it was gone this morning. She lives here in the Shinjuku area, so she decided to take a walk and drop by to pick it up.
あ、お母さんからチャットだ。キッチンのテーブルの上に置きっぱなしだったみたいです。
Oh,
すみ
Lordy.
ません。
Well, that settles that. It's so Naomi to do something like this, though.
ところで先輩、その本ってどんなのですか？
It's more of a card holder than a book, really. She jumps back to a topic I'm not expecting.
本？気になるの？
Thank you for spelling peak properly. Thank you so much.
立派な本ってどんなものか興味があるんです。
本好きなんだね。ちょっと待ってて。
Not like I have any customers right now, and the street's fairly empty. I'll make my way upstairs to get it.
お待たせ。これだよ。
An auburn cover with gold leaf decorations. I can tell Naomi's impressed, judging by the hushed noises she's making while examining the cover.
思った以上に立派ですね。結構昔の本みたいなのに古い匂いがしません。開いてもいいですか？
Don't drop my
い
cards.
いけど、その本変なんだ。
変ですか？
Her inquisitive look shifts to a confused expression upon opening it. Can't blame her, there aren't any real pages, just a big rectangular hole in the middle.
確かに変ですね。昔流行ったカードブックに似ています。
カードブック？
カードを使って変身して戦うって子供向けのアニメが昔やってたんですけど、
Yeah,
知り
see?
ません？
Card Captor Sakura.
やってたような、知らないような。
この空洞の中におもちゃのカードが入っているんです。本はあくまで箱で。ってあれ？薄くて気づきませんでしたけど、これも下の方にカードが入っていませんか？
あ、本当だ。模様が似ているから気づかなかったよ。
出してみてもいいですか？
I don't know if you should touch those.
どうしよう。おばあちゃんのかもしれないからここまでにしておこっか。確認取ってから見てみよう。
It's no regular book, at least. I'd feel bad if we uncover something she's been wanting to keep secret. That's why it's best to ask before we pry any further. Naomi's hands fly off the book almost immediately after I say that.
すみません。私、本のことになるとつい夢中になっちゃって、知らずにベタベタと触ってしまって。
いや、気にしなくて大丈夫。私が持ってきたんだしね。
You could tell she was entranced by it. I guess a book like this would fascinate anyone who's into as books as her.
じゃあ、また上に戻してくるね。
I can't read. As soon as those words fall out of my mouth, someone new walks through the door. An actual customer. In a mask. Now 2020. Not one of the regulars, though. A woman with a suitcase. Likely a tourist from abroad. Why the mask, though? Are you traveling while you're sick? What's wrong with you? She ends up asking where her hotel is, which is apparently closer to Shinjuku. I end up telling her that she's come out a bit too far. Apparently she's come to Japan alone to tour all the famous temples, but is in a bit of a pinch since she can't understand the language. It's problematic. Once I tell her where to go, she thanks me and goes on her way. She doesn't order anything, but she's kind enough so that I can forgive her.
リンカ先輩って英語ペラペラだったんですね。
Naomi can't contain her excitement after the woman leaves.
全然喋れないけど。
謙遜ですか？だってさっきの女の人、英語だったじゃないですか。
Well,
え？
that's a talent I wouldn't mind having. Can I pick my language? Now I'm the one who's surprised. We were speaking in English. It felt as natural as any other conversation to me. And then again, she did mention that she didn't understand Japanese. There's no way she'd say that if we had such a fluent conversation.
なんでだろう。
Universal translator.
私に聞かれても。
After putting the book upstairs, I returned with one of my English textbooks.
適当に問題出してみて。
わかりました。単語でいいですね。
She throws some questions at me, like I ask, and lo and behold, I can barely answer them.
ね、私英語できないでしょ。
確かにそうですけど、ちょっとだけ先輩が心配になってきました。
She tries to be as polite as possible when pointing out my inadequacy. Funnily enough, she didn't even have to look back to the textbook for the last few questions. It's worth noting that, while studying isn't exactly my forte, English is a subject I struggle with more than others. Yeah, it's because English is a weird language.
そうなると、さっき先輩が話せてたのが余計に不思議です。
It felt like I was having a regular conversation, so if anything, I'm more dubious about whether or not Naomi's right. I doubt anything will come from thinking it over for now, so I'll pay more attention the next time a foreigner comes along.
それでリンカ先輩、せっかく来たので、今日もコーヒーをいただいてもいいですか？もちろんお金は払うので。
いいけど、いいの？
はい、先輩の入れてくれたコーヒー、私とっても好きです。
The smile on her face is almost blinding as she speaks. I can feel my cheeks warming to a bright red. It's hard to describe the happiness those words instill me with. It might actually be the first time anyone's said that to me, considering I mainly serve regulars. They typically compare me to my gran, which isn't all bad, but they've never praised me as an individual. That's why I can't help but be taken aback by what she said. Enough so that I struggle to give her a proper response, let alone thank her for it. I'll just make you coffee. I make some coffee for her and she sips on it while reading a book. As she does that, I either handle orders for customers or clear up the tableware. Once an hour has passed, Naomi gets her things together and comes over to the register. I feel bad taking money from a junior, but she seems satisfied enough.
あ、そういえばさ、ゴールデンウィークの最終日は暇？日曜日なんだけど。
空いてます。どうしてですか？
真央と美晴とスターダストキングダムに行く予定でさ、奇数だとアトラクションに乗るときとか一人余っちゃうかもだから、偶数の方がいいねって話をしてて、よかったら行かない？
スターダストキングダム、リンカ先輩たちと行きたいです。
うん、じゃあ決まりだね。みんなに伝えとく。チャットのグループも作っておくよ。
でも三島先輩、大丈夫ですか？
美晴？直美も仲いいと思ってたけど、なんで？こっちは気にしなくていいよ。直美の予定と、あとお小遣いさえ良ければ。
はい、ならいいんですけど。
I'm not quite sure why she's acting so reserved in regards to Miharu, but at least she's willing to join us. I get back to work after seeing her off. First thing I do once I return to my room at the end of the day is message my gran. Seems like she's willing to think up a recipe for us. The book doesn't ring any bells for her, though. Mystery book. Seems like there are several books here with similar bindings, but they're just plain old books. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious about them, but that isn't enough for me to make me want to search through my gran's room. Now I need to figure out what to do with this one. I can't sell it. You know the game's not going to let us sell it. Actually, Naomi did mention that there are some cards inside. Might as well have a look. I flip the book over, dropping the cards out. 4 in total. All have a pattern similar to the book's cover. Turning them over to their fronts, I notice something written on their white background. The writing itself is in English, but I can read it perfectly fine for some reason. 1. Name, Shishimai Rinka. 3. Name, Federico Carminati. 4. Cause of death, fire. 9. Regret, gold medal.
どうして私の名前が？
I can't help but ask out loud. I'm not too sure what the other cards are about, but it's easy to imagine it's nothing good when the cause of death and regrets are mentioned. Yeah. There's probably a whole bunch of them considering the numbers. Enough to fill up the entire hole in the book, I'd guess. Or maybe 12. When did all the other cards disappear, though? More importantly, why was this book on my desk in the first place? I scour the internet as well, but nothing relevant comes up.
でもこれ氏名とか書いてあるし、個人情報だよな。同姓同名ってわけもないだろうし。
Selling the book isn't an option now. See, I told you the game wouldn't let you sell the book. I put the cards back inside before placing the book on my bookshelf. It's probably worth showing Naomi whenever she's here next. 2 pairs of eyes are better than 1 after all.
それより真央に連絡しないと。
I whip my phone out and send her a message about Naomi joining us for Stardust Kingdom, to which she replies almost immediately.
マジで？うわ、いや、ナオリンと行くのは楽しみなんだけど。まあいいや。ミハルにはうちから伝えておくから。
What's up with Miharu and Naori? Well, a bit odd for her response. She has said that there's no issue with Naomi joining us. She emphasizes that I shouldn't get in touch with Miharu, though. Okay. Well, a bit suspicious. Mao is usually the one who gets stuff sorted out, so I don't pay it much mind. I'd rather think about the fun theme park experience waiting for us in a few days. The store will be open tomorrow, as per usual, so I make my way to bed nice and early. Let's see what creepiness occurs. Oh, nothing happened that night. Or the past couple nights. 1 hour after the park opens, we finally passed through the hellish queue to get in. We came an hour early, but it turns out the others came earlier than that. Well, at least we didn't have to wait in line for tickets. Thanks to asking Mao to pick them up beforehand. Still, we totally underestimated how busy it would be during Golden Week.
いやー、やっと入れたね。とりあえず撮っておく？
She doesn't even wait for a response before snapping some pictures. Some with me, some with Miharu, some just by herself.
写真撮ってばっかりだと電池なくなるよ。
モバイルバッテリー持ってきてるから大丈夫。
せっかくだからリンカと撮りたいな。
ならみんなで入ろうよ。
それもいいけどせっかくだし、ミハルンとリータンのツーショットもいただき。
Naomi tries to hide her bewilderment through awkward laughter. Oh, I hate being that one in the group.
さて、じゃあお土産屋さんに行こう。
いきなり？せっかく来たんだし、まずは乗り物に乗ろうよ。
そうだね。僕は絶叫マシンは好きではないけれど、リンカの隣なら大丈夫かな。
Ooh, someone likes Rinka.
テーマパークって言ったら可愛い小物とかいろいろあるのに。あ、パレードも見たいな。ナオリンは？パレードは興味ありますけど、私は皆さんにお任せします。
Looks like Naomi's decided just to go with the flow. Can't blame her either. Pitching an idea to this group is kind of difficult.
ここからだと、あ、ブリリアントタワーっていうのが近いみたい。フリーフォール系のアトラクションだ。
散々並んだのにまた並ぶの？
Oh, come on. Theme parks are all about waiting in line.
あ、枚数は限られているみたいですけど、列をパスして入れる優先チケットがあるらしいです。
僕も並んでいる間に調べていたよ。今の混雑具合だと使えるのは1時間後くらいからのようだけれど、取っておいた方がいいんじゃないかな。
うん。ならまずはチケットを取ろう。待っている間にお店を見よう。パレードは午後のもあるから、いくつかアトラクションに乗ってから考えよう。
おお、リータンいいリーダーだね。
僕も賛成だ。リンカの言う通りにしよう。
私は皆さんにお任せします。
And with that, we make our way over to the ticket machine. I can feel myself getting excited about how fun today will be. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. The sky is pitch black when closing time looms near, allowing all the fancy illuminations to light up the park. Me and Miharu take a rest on one of the benches near the entrance, since Mao and Naomi split off to buy something they forgot to get earlier.
ってよく見たらカップルだらけ。どうする？移動する？
Hardly surprising, considering we're at a theme park on holiday. Still, it feels awkward sitting around people who are openly flirting with each other. I try to get up so we can move elsewhere, but Miharu grabs onto my sleeve and stops me.
いいよ。このままで。もうしばらく。
Okay.
うん。わかった。
嬉しいな。リンカが素直にうなずいてくれるのは珍しいからね。
It's not often that she wears such a shy expression either. She's normally a lot more outspoken, but something seems to be on her mind right now. Soon after, people start to gather around us to see the impending parade. Seems like we've picked a pretty good spot by coincidence, judging by the number of onlookers. The only issue is it'll be hard to meet back up again with Mao and Naomi. Can't read. If it gets any more packed, so I try to move again. Miharu maintains her refusal to let go of my sleeve, and I fail to find the words to make her stop. The silence between us continues. She looks sad. This isn't normal. People tend to get the wrong impression about her since she rarely talks to anyone other than us. She actually has a great sense of humor. She enjoys talking about the most meaningless stuff, too. And yet here we sit in utter silence. She's looking a bit shy, but there's determination in her expression as well, so I can't bring myself to say anything. Park staff sets up barricades near the bench during this time to make sure no one can get in the way of the parade before they start to organize people into lines. We could just stay seated, but doing so while the rest of the crowd waits around all excited feels too awkward. We speak at the same time, possibly because we're thinking the same thing.
何？
リンカの話から聞きたいな。
今日楽しかったねって、それだけ。
とても楽しかった。
せっかくだからこのままパレード見ちゃおっか。マオにはチャット送っておくよ。
そうしてくれると嬉しい。僕は遊園地に来るのも初めてだし、夜にパレードを見るのも初めてなんだ。だから興味があるんだよ。あまり家族で外出を、それも夜に遊びに行くなんてなかったからね。
そうなの？
Her only response to me is a smile. Back to an awkward silence. The only difference is that she has a downcast expression now, which morphs into one of worry. But then that hint of determination returns.
あのね、僕が言いたかったのは。
As soon as she starts, people around us begin to cheer. Immediately after, all the park illuminations go dark, which signals the start of some lively music.
パレード始まるね。
Ugh, it's horrible timing.
そうだね。
The sheer amount of noise coming from the parade makes it impossible for us to talk while it's going on. Regardless, just seeing it is enough for me. It's one of those things you can just sit back and appreciate. The parade comes to an end about a half hour later. Part of me is still entranced, even with the park illumination sparking back on. Once most of the people who've come to see it move on, I tell Miharu that we should go too. She slowly loosens her grip on my sleeve before standing.
とても綺麗だった。
うん、そうだね。来てよかった。
僕たちはまたこうして出かけられるかな。
She says this with a dramatically different tone of voice.
大丈夫。みんなずっと一緒だよ。
リンカがそう言ってくれるなら、今僕は満足だ。
次は花火大会かな。8月に大きな花火大会があったはず。マオにはまだ話してないけど、絶対行こうね。
I make sure to emphasize that we should all go.
必ず。
She replies with one clear, simple word. So clear, in fact, it worries me a little. Normally, you wouldn't be so firm about planning a night out with friends. My phone vibrates. Mao has just sent me a message, and when I turn around upon reading it, both her and Naomi are walking toward us.
あ、来たよ。行こう。ミハル？
She looks terrified.
あ、すまない。 少しぼーっとしていた。そうだね。合流しよう。
I wave the two of them over as she says that. First thing I do when I get home is take a good shower. Today has been absolutely exhausting, so my body insists that I dive straight into bed afterwards.
楽しかったな。
I'm not exactly rolling in money, so I couldn't buy much. But I did come home with something precious. I'm sure I don't need to say what it is either. You do, I'm kind of thick, so I didn't catch that. My gran even gets back to me about a relatively cheap and tasty beans, as well as a way for beginners to make a decent drip coffee. School's back in session tomorrow as well, so I need to make sure I teach Naomi properly. Once I hop into bed, my eyes are drawn to a certain book on my bookshelf. I still haven't told Naomi about the cards inside. I should do that when she comes over to learn the coffee brewing technique. I turn my lights off, ready to fall asleep. Something weird's gonna happen.
楽しかった。
I found myself repeating the same thing I said a few moments ago. We're still a ways off from the fireworks display in August, but I'm already looking forward to it. There's no doubt we'll do plenty of other stuff before that, too. So I figure anyway. I still have no idea what's in store for me. Never even considered the possibility of my daily life being disrupted by something far beyond my imagination. Dot 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 dot. Morning already? Is it? Doesn't feel like I've been asleep very long, but that might just be because I was so exhausted last night.
ごきげんよう。運命の奴隷の皆様。
Pardon me?
あら？最後のお一人ですわね。一番様。
I am wrong. I haven't woken up. This is the same thing that's been happening to me these last few days. I'm still asleep and yet conscious for some reason. Slowly but surely, I open my eyes. Ooh. It's very steampunky in here. The sight that greets me is one I could never have imagined. A number of gears float amidst infinite darkness. I gaze up and notice a faint ray of light piercing said darkness. And it finally registers that I'm standing up, not lying down. I find myself on a circular platform about 3 meters in diameter. A witness stand like you'd see in court is attached to the platform. I've only ever seen one in the news and on TV shows. Even more baffling is that this platform seems to be floating. It's attached to a much larger circle but floats independently of it. This is just one of 12 platforms by my count, all of which are arranged within a larger circular pattern, like a clock's face. As if in support of this analogy, the platform on which I stand is labeled with a Roman numeral 1. In the center of these concentric circles are massive clock hands slowly ticking away. Well, this is no good.
何？ここは何なの？
どうして
Ugh!
君が
Miharu! I inhale sharply the moment I hear that voice. The platform beside me, which would be Roman numeral 2, is none other than Miharu standing on it. Oh, this is not good.
一番様。その方の名前はお告げにならない方がいいですわ。
Why? A voice I don't recognize stops me. I look in the direction from which it comes, only to see a small girl with white hair.
床のないところを歩いている。
Unlike the rest of us, she isn't standing on a circular platform. She's walking around on nothing at all. She takes another step forward, stopping on the subsection attaching our platforms together. The hem of her skirt flutters up slightly, which reveals her slender thighs. Her hair is as fluffy as her clothes, the latter of which resemble the attire worn by a foreign noble. More like a cosplayer, but okay. The hat nestled on her tiny head is kinda cute, too. This is not the time for cute. Where are you? Our eyes meet as we turn to face one another.
私は運命の女神パルカ。女神の選定を取り仕切る管理者であり、あなた方人間の上位にあたる存在ですわ。
Okay.
ごめん、何の話？
Run that by me too.
どうやらあなたは死のショックで記憶が一部抜けてしまっているようですわね。
Oh, I'm dead again.
あなたにも説明をして差し上げたと思うのですけれど、仕方がないのでもう一度だけ説明しましょう。
説明？死のショック？ごめん、そもそも全然意味がわからないんだけど。
黙って聞いてくださいます？
She sighs again, obviously unimpressed. Well, excuse me for dying. Her attitude toward me, despite being visibly younger, makes me want to keep interrupting her. And me too.
君は忘れていたからこの数日間普通でいられたんだね。君は君のためにこのまま話を聞いた方がいい。
でも
言い方を変えよう。そうしてくれ。
わかった。
よろしいかしら。もしよろしければ他の皆様もおさらいしてくださいな。
She makes her way along a clock hand to the center of the clock face. She continues her explanation mid-step, her tone as elegant as they come.
女神の選定、それはあなた方因果の時を等しく持つ方々が各々の死の運命を回避するための儀式ですわ。
Okay. So all of us here, presumably 12, have died. And one of us is going to be able to go back to living. Well, that's convenient.
先ほども申し上げましたが、私は運命の女神パルカ。これより12回の日曜日という本日を除くと残り11回の短い間ですが、以後お見知りおきを。
Thanks. She reaches the center of the clock by the time she finishes her self-introduction. Then she stands tall, pinches her skirt, and bobs a curtsy to us before continuing her explanation. Oh god, there's more?
選定の終了にあたる12週間後、あなた方12人は同じ瞬間同じ場所にいるはずでした。けれどもその結果にたどり着くことなく、あなた方の命は終了してしまったのです。
Amusingly
場
enough.
所こそバラバラでもくしくも全く同じ時間に。
Yeah, it's a laugh riot.
その時こそ因果の時。
The juncture of causality. Okay. Call it whatever you want, but I'm struggling to keep up. If what she's saying is true, then me and Miharu, not to mention the others here, we're dead. That can't be right, though. I've been living my life normally until now. So, am I a ghost? It makes even less sense. Confused though I may be, I listen to what this girl has to say.
因果の時において場所は重要ではないのですわ。なぜなら死の瞬間、あなた方の意識は現実から乖離する。刑事下の存在から刑事上の存在へと昇華したのですから。生きているあなた方も時々は刑事上へと意識が移動することがあったでしょう。ここ
Oh,
は
sorry there, didn't mean
夢
to
の
cut
世
you
界
off.
と呼びましょうか。
The dream world. Okay.
人々の集合無意識の世界でもあり、いくつもの平行世界でもあり、あなた方それぞれの精神世界でもある。不安定で実存のない世界。存在す するかも不確かな世界をあなた方が認識できるように、私はこの運命の大広間を作って差し上げました。
A court of fate. That doesn't sound good. I take in my surroundings. No walls, no ceiling. Calling this place a court doesn't seem fitting, considering how odd it is.
名付けこそ実存しないものに存在と意味を与える最も単純で最も強力な方法ですわ。
Did you read my mind?
お分かりいた。
Oh,
ごたく
sorry,
は
I
いい。
did it again.
早く指名させろ。
What? A man's voice cuts in as if to silence Paruka. The voice originated from the platform to my right, emblazoned with the Roman numeral 12. The man standing there has brown skin. He's tall and muscular with a hardened face. I assume he's from the Middle East. Actually, wait a minute. Isn't it odd that both Paruka and this guy can speak Japanese? Why didn't I realize that sooner? Everyone sounded so natural that the thought never crossed my mind.
焦ってもいいことはありません。説明はここからが大事なのですから。
Yeah, I still don't know what I'm supposed to do here. She gives a stern yet composed warning.
話を戻しましょう。あなた方12人の中で運命の先に進めるのは1人だけです。
Ugh.
選定期間中こそあなた方の死因となった出来事はなかったことになっていますが、最後に残る1人以外は結果的に本来の死の運命に戻りますわ。誰かが脱落した段階でこの世界はその人が本来の時に死んだ世界に書き換わります。
Ugh.
運命が巻き戻り、選定期間になしたことが失われるということですわね。
Oh, that's harsh.
そして因果の時から選定終了までの期間、あなた方は断りを外れた存在と思っていただいて構いませんわ。つまりこの女神の選定以外の理由で死ぬことは決してない。死なない程度の怪我ならしてしまうかもしれませんけれど、
Challenge
お
accepted.
まぬけの一番様、これであなたもお分かりでしょ。
It does not. She shoots me a sharp glance before she continues to speak. Much as I'd rather not, it's hard to feign ignorance after hearing her explain things this much.
12人が殺し合う。
That's what I got out of it.
90% 正解ですわ。けれどもあくまで9割。実際に殺し合うなんて野蛮な方法は取りません。あなた方にはお互いを殺すのではなく脱落させ合っていただきます。だってあなた方はもう死んでいるのですから。
嫌味だね。
Mikado and I aren't the only ones to react either. The others have their own thoughts to share on the matter too. Haruka's voice, along with all of ours, resounds to the court so we can hear each other speak. I don't have it in me to take a good look at all the others gathered. My eyes are glued to the person on platform 6. She sits in the fetal position, lifeless, almost as if asleep. I go back to focusing on Paruka. After that, in an attempt to take my mind off the uneasiness welling up in me. Yeah, you can decide whether or not to believe this after she finishes.
選定の参加者を脱落させる方法は3枚のカードを集めること。
Oh, the book cards.
あなた方一人一人には現在、過去、未来を示す使命、死因、未練の3枚のカードが割り振られています。自分の情報が書かれた自身のカードをお持ちでしょうから、それは分かっていることでしょう。 全く手がかりがないところからでは選定が進みません。皆様には自身のカード以外に他の参加者のカードをランダムに3枚ずつ配っていますわ。そしてこれからはカードを自らの手で集めていただきます。選定の参加者それぞれの情報を知った時、情報という概念はカードという実存に変わります。
So we have to go out and capture the cloud cards.
あなた方の世界、この夢の世界ではなく現実世界で情報を集めるのです。そうすれば自然とカードを取得することができます。夢と現実をつなぐもの、カードブックはすでにあなた方の手にあります。ほら、ここにも。
I cast my eyes down as she mentions the book. Hey, my book! What I initially thought was some kind of handrail is actually a book stand. Resting upon it is a single book. An auburn coat. Yes, we know.
この本、ナオミと見た。どうしてここに。
I open it up only to discover it's identical to the one at Lion House. Hey, don't show everyone those cards. Bright light pours out from it all of a sudden. I close my eyes on instinct and slowly open them again when I notice the light gradually fading away. What greets me now are 4 cards, one lined up beside another, floating above the book itself. 1. Name, Shishimai Rinka. 3. Name, Federico Carminati. 4. Cause of death, fire. 9. Regret, gold medal. Each card has its own details written on them. Only one card has my own information on it, though. Maybe that's thanks to my memory being fuzzy? The other 3 have information on the others, so 4 in total. I catch myself peeking over at Miharu, but I can't see anything due to the light pouring from her book.
自分以外にはカードの情報も何枚持っているかすらも見えないってことだね。
Hey, you mean some people might have more cards? Oh man.
だからそっちの本の周りは光ってて見えないんだ。
How come you know so much about this, Miharu? It's like you've played this game before. Miharu gives me a concise explanation of her discovery. She must have noticed me looking over at her. Meanwhile, Paruka pays us no mind, opting instead to continue her explanation.
指名の順番は皆様が意思表示をした後に決まりますわ。あなた方に割り振られた番号によって指名ができなくなることはありません。指名した相手が自身を指名していた時、自身のカード1枚を参加者全員へオープンにした方が指名する権利を得ることができます。
Huh. She continues her explanation to proclaim that if both reveal a personal card, they are required to reveal another. Alright, so the more cards you have on someone, the better. If both parties reveal all 3 cards, a stalemate occurs, which results in all other participants receiving their information and running the risk of being elected, nothing more. Oof. You only have 3 pieces of information, so revealing just one is risky enough. Conversely, if you refuse to reveal a personal card, then you'll be eliminated. I've only got 1 personal card. What's up with that? Paruka moves on before I can ask.
他にご注意いただきたいこと。例えば、1番様が12番様を指名、3番様が1番様を指名した場合、1番様が12番様を脱落させた後、1番様は3番様によって脱落させられますわ。
Well, that makes sense.
指名の意思表示をした後、指名は割り振られた番号の順番に行います。これが基本のルールですわ。ただし、1番様が12番様を、12番様が3番様を指名した場合、1番様が12番様を脱落させてしまうと、3番様の指名はなくなってしまいます。
Well, that also makes sense.
このようにねじれが生まれるとき、 脱落者が最も多くなるように順番は入れ替わりますわ。
Hearing you explain all that makes me realize the meaning behind these cards. I ended up dying at some point without realizing it, and now I'm being forced to take part in this ordeal. That's why I was given these cards. She calls it divine selection, but this whole thing, collecting cards and eliminating others, it's practically a game with our futures at stake. Gathering information on complete strangers isn't an easy task, but so long as you can manage that, then...
3つの情報を知られたらおしまいってことでしょ。そんなの
防御策というのがあるらしい。
My eyes are affixed to Miharu after hearing this, as I hope she'll continue.
自分を脱落させようと指名してきた相手のカードを3枚持っていること。その3枚のカードを捧げる。消滅させることで身を守れるらしい。指名してきた相手のカードも消滅するということだね。指名された側は指名してきた相手を今後指名できなくなる代わりに、その相手にも指名されなくなる。ただしその場合、指名者は自身のカードを参加者全員に1枚オープンにすることで相手の防御を打ち破れる。合っているね。
ええ、あなたはきちんと覚えていらっしゃるようで安心いたしましたわ。
もしその2人が最後の2人になったらどうなるの？
Duel to the death.
それはその時が来たら説明しますわ。
Oh, come on, it's gonna be me and Miharu. You know it. She makes it clear that she has nothing else to add. I try to interject, but she ignores me.
もう一つ、指名されても脱落しない。免れるケースがあるね。
Her grin flashes across Paruka's face in response.
例えば、ある人物を別の2人が同時に指名する場合、この時、指名の優先権の奪い合いが発生する。
どちらも
Sorry about that.
自身のカードをオープンにしないで優先権を取らなかったら指名は無効になる。
察しは悪くはないようですわね。その通りですわ。
Miharu closes her book when she notices Paruka is about to continue her explanation. I try to close mine, but it forces itself back open until the cards can make their way back inside. Yeah, you don't want to lose those things, jeez. After they have, I can close it just fine. Seeing real objects behave like a smartphone app is a bit weird.
一夜で指名を行えるのは1人につき1回までというのもお忘れなく。そして全員の指名の意思を確認してから実際の指名に移ります。指名者が自身のカードをオープンにしたことにより、別の参加者がその方のカードが3枚揃ったとしても、実際に指名を行えるのは次の前提からですわ。
Ugh. Looks like there's a proper procedure for all of this. First, everyone has to decide if they want to elect someone, and once they've made that choice, the election itself begins. I can tell the rules she's explaining are vital, so I try my best to keep up despite my persistent confusion.
指名して相手を脱落させると皆様にもメリットがございますわ。それは脱落させた相手からカードを1枚取得することができるということです。代わりに
いい加減もういいだろ。
Hey, that could have been important. The same voice that interrupted her earlier speaks out again.
いや、やめて。
Hey, it's the
始まった
foreigner.
ら私やだ、ビル、助けて。
Do you know each other?
黙れ。 女神、君もこの調子では話を続けられないだろう。
This man clearly has no sympathy for the woman pleading with him. In fact, he seems to feel nothing at all, much like Buttercup.
もう仕方がありませんね。いいでしょう。それでは。
Wait, we have to begin tonight? I don't have any cards hardly.
これより今宵の選定を開始しますわ。
Oh dear. I can't recall much of what happens next. Once the man on platform 12 elects the woman on platform 6, they're both raised upwards and out of sight. Not long after, platform 12 descends with the man on it. I assume it means that he has all 3 of her cards and has succeeded in eliminating her. Ooh, that was quick. After he returns, I think he shows a card to Paruka and claims it is the name of numeral 8. Having to say which card you take is probably what she would have explained if he hadn't interrupted her earlier. Which means everyone else gets to know the card you claimed.
心配なさらなくても、この時間はあなた方の眠りの時間。現実の時間とは異なる狭間の時ですわ。つまり目を覚ませばいつもの朝。それでは今宵の脱落者は1名。これをもって選定を終了といたしましょう。
Consciousness begins to fade when she says that. The sensation is similar to when you start falling asleep. My train of thought is completely stopped at that point, though.
受け入れる方が無理だろう。
Not a single thing about it. Ooh, achievement unlocked. First week. Wow. So, that was the opening. I'm probably going to leave it there for now and continue with this later. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. This could get really intense really quickly. Although, like a lot of visual novels, it has a very long and slow opening. So, I hope to see y'all in the next one. Bye!